Hello everyone. In this lecture, we will see the concept of deep neural networks. So before this, we have seen that what is meant by neural networks, then what is feed forward mechanism, and what is mean by back propagation. So neural networks are the concept which is generated basically from the human brain, and it is based on the number of nodes or number of neurons present for that nodes, and it contains number of layers. Some of the layers are hidden layers, and every neuron is connected with every other node. So this is the basic structure of any neural network. So the thing is, what is mean by deep neural network? So deep neural network is the subpart, we can say, of machine learning, or it comes along with the machine learning, because machine learning consists of different types of algorithm into it. That algorithms are working onto the supervised kind of learning or unsupervised kind of learning. Sometimes it may be semi-supervised learning, sometimes it may be reinforcement learning. So whatever the data, what kind of data you are available with, on the basis of that, you have to apply the algorithms for the same. For what process you are going to do the task, or what is the basic intention behind that task. On the basis of that, you have to choose the algorithm. So this is the basic concept of machine learning. So deep neural network and artificial intelligence, these are the eras, we can say. It comes along with the machine learning, and it is also a very important and major part of the machine learning. So we will see in brief what is meant by deep neural network. So deep learning is a class of machine learning algorithms that consists of, it uses a cascade of multiple layers of non-linear processing units for feature extraction and transformation. Each successive layer uses the output from the previous layer as an input. So if you are remembering the basic diagram of neural network that we have seen before two lectures, so you will be better understand what this sentence is exactly. Uh, so the basic concept of deep learning is, it consists of machine learning algorithms, and it is having or its main use or main advantage is feature extraction and transformation. So before this also we have seen that how the features are extracted from the number of features, number of instances in machine learning algorithm, and this is also one of the tasks to extract the features and transformation. So deep learning is the thing which is used generally for these two purposes, and it also contains layers in which output of one layer will be the input for the another layer. So it learns in supervised and unsupervised, obviously, because it works onto the machine learning algorithms. It also comes along with supervised and unsupervised kind of data. So it learns multiple level of representation. This is very important part in deep learning. When you are considering just neural network, so suppose it contains two or three levels into it, two or three layers into it. So when we consider deep neural network, so it consists of, or it considers multiple number of levels into it, and because of that only complexity of deep neural network is somewhat high. But it is very interesting part, and if you got some interest in programming into it, so you will be able to understand what actually deep learning is or how interesting is. That corresponds to different level of abstraction, the level from hierarchy of concept. So same concept from the neural network we have to consider here. Multiple layers are there. Some are hidden layers present into it, some are input layer, some are output layer. Output of one layer will be the input of another layer. It may consist of multiple levels into it. It may work onto the supervised or unsupervised kind of learning. And the basic intention behind doing all these things are feature extraction and transformation. Means by using all these concepts, we are just creating such data sets which are accurate and which we can work properly, or one can easily perform their projects, or one can easily perform their algorithms onto the data set. So this is the basic overall idea about the deep neural network. So before this also neural network was present. Then why to go for deep neural network? So the facts that differentiate deep learning network in general form, canonical, feed-forward multi-layer network are as follows. So feed-forward is the layer where we have to go from the input layer to hidden layer. Suppose two hidden layers are there in the network. So input layer will go to the first hidden layer will go to second hidden layer, and then you have to produce the output for the same. So this is the basic idea behind feed-forward multi-layer network. So what is the basic difference between deep neural network and the feed-forward multi-layer network? So basically three things are there. First one is more neurons than previous network. As I said some time before, so if you are considering only feed-forward layer, then if you are considering only 2 or 3 layers into it, deep neural network may consist of more number of neurons into it, or more number of layers into it, like more complex ways of connecting layers. So suppose if you are remembering the diagram of neural network which we have drawn in the basic concepts of neurons, where we have drawn, like suppose one input layer is there and in hidden layer 2 or 3 nodes are there. So 3 neurons were going from first input layer for first input point to all the 3 hidden nodes. So only 3 number of neurons were going, but neural network may consist of, or deep neural network may consist of 6 number of neurons may go from the input layer to all other hidden nodes. It may possible in deep neural network. And third one is the automatic feature extraction. As I said, the basic intention behind all these things are feature extraction only. So the basic idea or the purpose of doing all these things is feature extraction. So we are having lots of features with us, we are having lots of instances with us, and we have to create such instances or such features, or we have to extract such features from the uh, feature set which are not useful, and we have to pick such features which are useful or which are accurate in their part. So this is the basic intention behind the deep neural network. So when we say more neurons, we mean that the neuron count has risen over the years to express more complex models. Layers also have evolved from each layer being fully connected in multi-layer network to locally connected patches of neurons between layers in convolutional neural network, and recurrent connections to the same neuron in recurrent neural networks. So basically these convolutional neural network that are known as CNNs and recurrent connections or recurrent neural networks are there. So these are the types of neural networks. Basically, there are 4 types of neural networks. We will see in our next slide itself. So, while connecting these neural networks, on the basis of which criteria that neurons are connected to one another, how they are passing the data from one another, and how many layers it consists of, how many neurons it consists of, on the basis of that, these types are distributed by one another. So layers may also evolve from each layer, means it should not all the time possible that only one layer it is there, only 2 layers are there, only this much numbers of neurons are there. So this is not every time possible. On the basis of application, on the basis of your project, it may rise, it may get fall. So all these things can happen with the neural network. So more connection means that our network have more parameters to optimize, and this requires the explosion in computing power that occurred over past 20 years. Means this is very big area, like neural network, artificial intelligence. And since last many years, research is going on this on these eras. And the thing is, more connection means we cannot say that every time neurons are there or nodes are there. So it may consist of more number of parameters into it, and because of that, complexity of the network also goes increasing. uh, then the explosion may there, but all these things, all of these advances provided the foundation to build next generation neural networks capable of extracting features for themselves in a more intelligent fashion. So see, this is the basic intention, like while extracting the features, because in machine learning also there are some algorithms which are useful in extraction of the features, but why to go for the deep neural network? So we have to create such algorithm, or we have to create such data set, or the algorithm should be enough intelligent to pick such features which are really useful, which are accurate in itself, and which will build a basic foundation for the data set. So this is the advances, or these are some techniques which we have to consider while designing any neural network, so that the basic intention of neural network should get fulfilled. So this allowed deep networks to model more complex problem spaces than previously possible. So one will definitely go for neural network if you are considering some algorithm from the machine learning. And if you are considering the neural network, then if you are building such a neural network or such a algorithm, which is means which you have considered by using all these criteria, so one will definitely go for the neural network to extract the features from the feature set, and not go for the any simple machine learning algorithm that will also do the feature extraction, but accuracy is more, or accuracy is high in neural network. So as industry demands are ever changing and ever reaching, the capabilities of neural networks have had to change forward. Obviously, because the intention is the same, that if you have to show your neural network of, or if you have to show your algorithm different from the machine learning algorithm, so you have to go for that needs of the industries, or you have to go for the advances of the industry. By considering that only, you have to prepare your algorithm. So there are four major architectures of deep networks, as I said before some time. So there are basically four types into it. So first one is the unsupervised pre-trained networks. Second is the convolutional neural networks. Third is the recurrent neural networks. And fourth one is the recursive neural networks. So these are four parts actually. We are going to see all these things in deep with our next lectures also. So common architectural principles of deep networks. So before going for any particular architecture of deep networks from these four networks, first we will see what are the common architecture principles of deep networks. So there are some core components into it. So first one is the parameters. Like I have said, uh, number of parameters are increasing in deep neural network. Parameters in the sense, suppose you are going to build a feature set, suppose you are going to build instances, so which parameters you are going to consider, on the basis of what you are going to select that particular features from the feature set. So that things are known as parameters. How many layers are there in your neural network is also a very important thing, because if the number of layers are increasing, obviously complexity of the neural network may get increased. Activation functions are there. Before this also we have seen that there are three types of activation functions are there, from which one we have worked with it, that logistic regressions function, heaviside function is there, linear function is there, then some loss functions are there, then optimization methods are there, and hyperparameters are there. So these are some parameters which we have to consider while building any deep neural network. So there are some building blocks of deep networks. Building deep network goes beyond basic feed-forward multi-layer neural network. In some cases, deep network combine smaller network as a building block into larger network. In other cases, they use a specialized set of layers. So there are some building blocks like feed-forward multi-layer neural network, then RBMs, and third one is the autoencoders. So these are the building blocks of the deep networks, we can say, in which we have seen feed forward multi-layer neural network before in our previous lecture also. We will just revise in 1 minute so that we can go for the next building block. So feed forward in the sense we are having input layer, we are having some hidden nodes or hidden layers into it, and every input layer is going to every hidden node with some weights. Then many number of hidden layers it should consist of, and finally the output layer is there, and one has to calculate the weight for that complete network. So one has to go from the input layer to the output layer. This concept is known as the feed forward multi-layer neural network. Now second one is the RBMs. Okay, so RBMs model probability and are great at feature extraction. They are feed forward networks in which data is fed through them in one direction with two biases rather than one bias, as in traditional backpropagation feed forward networks. So the only difference is one has to go with the two biases instead of one bias. In backpropagation also we have seen that for every layer there should be one bias in the sense there are some errors present into it, because no algorithm can be accurate, no algorithm can give us 100% accuracy, so which we have to consider as a bias. Then RBMs are used in deep learning for the following, like feature extraction and dimensionality reduction. All these things are present with the machine learning itself, but the thing where deep neural networks invented. So these are we can say the basic intentions behind the deep neural network. For dimensionality reduction also we have seen principal component analysis algorithm in machine learning also, which or that algorithm is also used to reduce the dimensions given for the data sets, and we can reduce that dimension and we can reduce the values given to the data set. So the basic intention of RBM is also feature extraction and dimensionality reduction. So RBMs are used for pre-training layers in larger networks such as deep belief network, and are also type of autoencoders. There are basically four main parts of RBMs. First one is the visible units, second one is the hidden units, third one is the weights visible bias units, and hidden bias units. A standard RBM has a visible layer and a hidden layer. So visible and hidden layer, it consists of, or in an RBM, every single node of the input layer is connected by weight to every single node of hidden layer. This we have seen in the neural network also, but no two nodes of the same layer are connected. No two nodes of same layer are connected. The second layer is known as hidden layer. Hidden units are feature detectors, learning features from the input data. Nodes in each layer are biologically inspired as the feed-forward multi-layer neural network. Units, also known as nodes, in the visible layer are observable in that they take training vectors as an input, and each layer has bias unit with its state always set to on. Each node performs computation based on the input to the node and output based on the stochastic decisions where or not to transmit data through an activation. Just as with the artificial neurons, the activation computation is based on the weights on the connections and the input values. The initial weights are randomly generated. So basically the visible and hidden layers means If you are remembering the basic structure of neural network, so we were having input layer and two hidden layers into it. So that input and hidden layer is known as visible and hidden layer, where only the thing is no two nodes of the same layer are connected. Then hidden layers are there. For every neuron there is some weight assigned to it, and visible layers are the observable layers, we can say. And computation means calculation of that node or output generated by that node is based on the whatever the weights you have given to the neurons, which are going from one layer to another layer. Next is connections and weights. So all connections are visible and hidden. None are visible or hidden. The edges represent connections along which signals are passed. Loosely speaking, those circles or nodes act like human neurons. They are decision units. They make decisions about whether to be on or off through acts of computation. On means that pass a signal further through the net. Off means that they don't. Usually on means data passing through the code is valuable. It contains information that will help the network to make a decision. And off means the network thinks that particular input is irrelevant noise, and a network comes to know which features or signals correlated with labels by being trained. With training, networks learn to make accurate classifications of the input they receive. So all the sentences are self-explanatory itself. So connections are there. Connection contains some weights with it, and there are decision units. Two types of decisions are there: on and off. If on means the signal is means one can pass the signal, but if it is off, so one cannot pass the signals from it. If the data is on or the signal is on, it means data passing through code is valuable. It contains some information. If it is off, so the data may be irrelevant or it may contain some noise with it. Next one is the biases. So there is a set of bias weights connecting the bias units for each layer to every unit of the layer. Bias nodes help the network better triage and model cases in which an output node is always on or always off. So as I said before also, so bias is the error, we can say, which we have to consider while building any network or while building any machine learning algorithm, where we cannot say any algorithm is accurate, any algorithm is 100% accurate. So for that only we have to consider some sort of value for it. Next one is the training RBMs. The technique known as pre-training using RBM means teaching it to reconstruct the original data from a limited sample of the data that is given a chain. A trained network could approximate a face. RBMs learn to reconstruct the input data set. So the thing is, while training the data, suppose we are having 10 instances with us, so we have to generate such algorithm which will give us correct output or possible most probable output by considering 2 or 3 instances only. Like suppose if we are giving chain of any person to the algorithm, so if by using that chain only, image of that chain only, that algorithm should recognize the face of that person. So that concept is known as training RBM. So reconstruction is a matrix factorization problem. So all these things are saved into the form of matrix only. So deep neural network with unsupervised pre-training performs feature engineering from unlabeled data through reconstruction. In pre-training, the weights learned through unsupervised pre-trained learning are used for weight initialization in networks such as deep belief network. So these things are known as deep belief network, where one has to consider some amount of data from the data set as a training part, and other are known as the testing part. And one has to go for the one by one things, like for 20% of data you have to consider it as a training data, and another 80% will be your testing data. After some time, from from that 80% again, for 20% you have to consider as a training, and the other should be your testing data. So this is the concept of training RBMs. So with this, we have completed the concept of RBM, which is the basic building block of any deep neural network. Third part is there, which is known as autoencoders, that we will see in our next lecture in detail. Thank you.